Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Something we've been getting a ton of questions on are about your vacuum breakers. This right here is a vacuum breaker. Usually you're going to see them on the side of your house. You might see them in the landscaping and some bushes. And what it does is if you've got an irrigation system, you've got to have one of these. Most people get frustrated and irritated with them because they usually freeze and break in the wintertime, and they're expensive to fix. They can cost, you know, $500–600 to fix if the whole thing busts. If these copper pipes, if they break, you know, that can cost a couple $100s to replace. But most people get frustrated and they just don't understand, why do I have to have this? Cut it out, I don't want it. So the first answer to that question is you have to have it. It's required by law. What you need to understand about that is that the reason it's required by law is because they can pose a health and safety issue. And what I mean by that is so the way your irrigation system works is you've got a water line that feeds your house, right? And when you get your irrigation system installed, what happens is you tap into that main water line, and then you go off and you feed your valves and you feed the irrigation system. So the vacuum breaker needs to stay in between the irrigation system and that main water main. And the reason being is that there's always things that cause stresses on the water system. A water main could break, there could be a house fire 2 blocks over. Anything that can put like a strain on the water system and require a lot of water, what will end up happening is it can actually form a vacuum on the water mains, and it can actually pull water out of the house. If you notice, whenever you get a water main break, your water pressure drops. It's because that water is being pulled away from your house and it's being dumped somewhere else into the break or wherever. And what ends up happening is you've got your irrigation system, you've got all this water that sits in those plastic pipes, it gets stagnant, you get algae, bacteria, whatever else builds up. And if one of these vacuums is pulled, it can actually pull all of that algae and all of that contaminated water into the water system. It can pull it into your house, it can pull it back into the main water line. And this vacuum breaker, it breaks the vacuum. It stops that from happening. So while it is a nuisance, it is something else you have to remember in the fall. You gotta go out and winterize them. You don't want them to break. If they do break, they tend to be expensive. It's not because of some obscure rule or some obscure law or tax or whatever. It genuinely is for your protection, and in some cases the protection of everybody else in the public as well. So keeping any kind of contaminants that might possibly be able to get back into the water main, it keeps them from getting in there. So anyway, I hope this clears up some confusion. If you've ever wondered why you have it, what it's needed for, or any of that good stuff, that's your answer. Y'all have a good day.